greatness, you're going to find out over the next little while, because it has been a very, 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 very crazy news day. So we're going to get to all that here in just a couple of seconds. First off, hi, welcome, whether you're watching us on video via the Race Chaser Media Facebook page or listening to us via PMN, Spreaker, On Demand, whatever it is. We're glad you're hearing our voices, and we hope you continue hearing our voices while we give you all the news of the day and other sorts. I'm Jacob Seelman, joined at the round table by a cast of thousands, also known as Hunter Smith, 1,
3,
Tom Baker, 2, and Chris Murdock, 3, and Randy Miller, capably producing and punching buttons and keeping us going here on this here program. Now, we're going to kick off this show, and we always are fast-paced, but this opening segment is really fast-paced. So, Tom, I think I'm just going to open it up by saying, good grief, somebody told all the PR people, hey, it's Thursday, let's just throw out all our news all at once. And, oh, by the way, we've got 2 road course races this weekend, too.
It has been a crazy news day today, and we'll get into all of the motorsports news of the day, particularly in NASCAR, because we've had some very interesting developments that are well worth some discussion here. So lots of opportunity to talk NASCAR National Series. Of course, we've got Liam Thompson from Australia.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
And CJ Woliver going to be joining us to talk NASCAR as well from Fox Sports, and that's going to be fun as well. He'll be joining us here in just a minute. We'll get into our quick review of Bristol and a look ahead to what's going on over the weekend, not to mention the news of the day, because, again, as we said, it was a very busy news cycle today.
Yes, just because there's no Cup race, hey, remember that, guys, no Cup race this weekend. Just keep that in mind as we go through this show. That doesn't mean there's not a lot of news, though. We're going to get to that. We'll get to that coming up in just a few minutes. Right now, we're going to do this business, and we'll roll on with more Motorsports Madness in just a moment. Hang tight.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Louis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
I'm Kaz Gralla, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
In the category of drivers who are hoping to make a splash this weekend, that guy that just brought us back from break, Kaz Gralla, going to be hunting a road course victory. In the NASCAR Xfinity Series, I love this race because it's the Johnsonville 180 over the weekend, and anything that is sponsored by something that I can put on the grill makes me very happy. So, welcome back to the Madness. Jacob Seelman, Chris Murdock, Tom Baker, Hunter Smith around the round table right now, joined by somebody who's just about as crazy as we are, which means he's a perfect fit to be on this program, and a very good friend of ours from NASCAR on Fox, CJ Woliver. CJ, I'm glad you're back. I think we all speak when we say that, and today has been a crazy news day, so this is a perfect time to get you involved in this.
Exactly, absolutely. Well, I mean, is there really a bad time to be a part of the madness? No, I love it. So thank you guys so much for having me on. And got a big weekend coming up over at the Fox Sports headquarters this weekend and in Canada, because we race on Sunday. I know a lot of people are saying it's an off weekend. What off weekend? No, man, the main events are on Sunday, and Sunday we've got Canadian Tire. So I'm excited about that. We've got a good weekend coming up.
We're going to talk trucks and playoffs in just a minute. I want to start, though, with what I'm going to call the biggest news of the day, Tom, mostly because of all the storylines that I feel like this news evokes. Ross Chastain and Chip Ganassi Racing announcing that the watermelon farmer is going to drive 3 races in the number 42 Xfinity car for CGR, 2 to end the 2 of the last 3 races in the regular season, and then 1 in the playoffs. This starts at Darlington, and boy, oh boy, do I love some of the scenarios that this puts together.
You know, it really does, and I'll tell you, the opportunity for Ross Chastain, this isn't the first time that Ross will have had the chance in top equipment. He ran some truck races for Brad Keselowski Racing a little bit back in the day, but this is a great opportunity for him, and you're right. Here's the thing about this scenario, Jacob, is you've got a driver's point title and an owner's point title, and Ross Chastain now, of course, any points he gets, the 42 car count toward his driver's points. And we were discussing before the show, well, if Ross wins, he advances.
Yes.
To the next round.
Yes.
So let's just say, for example, that he were to go out and win Darlington, which is his first race.
Well, that would be before the playoffs, so it would lock him in.
It would lock him into the playoffs, yeah.
Vegas,
but he's already...
Richmond. Richmond is the playoff race he's running.
Yeah, well, Richmond, and then he's doing Vegas, too.
Vegas is the regular season finale for the Xfinity cars. It's the opener for the Cup playoffs, but remember, Xfinity and Cup schedules don't exactly
That's right, they're different. Yeah, okay. So let's say he gets to the playoffs, well, which he's going to end up, unless he completely falls apart this next weekend, he's going to end up locking into the 4 car. So, but if he were to win in the first round of the playoffs, right, then that would put him in a situation where he would advance.
Correct. He would be locked into the second round.
Right. Now he has this sets up a bit of an interesting scenario, because you were saying earlier that, was it Matt Weaver that brought up the scenario?
Matt Weaver brought up a great hypothetical.
Yeah, go ahead and lay that out for us.
All right, so, and I want to get CJ's input on this too in a minute. Weaver brought up a hypothetical earlier today that this could open the door to see combinations of drivers and cars, maybe to make championship runs like we haven't seen before, that perhaps you could see somebody run a majority of the races in a car like a JD Motorsports, or to use John Hunter Nemechek as an example, perhaps a Nemco Motorsports car, and then buy just enough races in a premier team car run the playoffs in that Premier Team car and make a run at the championship and spend less money than perhaps running a full season in that Premier car. And CJ, for me, not only do I love this opportunity for Ross in the 42, but I do love some of the potential scenarios that this could set up for the future. I think all of a sudden it's kind of opened people's eyes to what this playoff system, what kind of potential it really has for some guys to really make some noise.
Well, first off, let me say how delighted I am in that news for Ross Chastain. I've known him for years, seen him in the garage, and really, he's one of those I like to call sometimes guys tire carriers and car pushers. He's one of the drivers that you'll see him in the garage. He doesn't just drive. He will get behind his guys, and he'll be on the bumper, and he'll be pushing it to inspection. He's kind of, I kind of see him sometimes as maybe the Jordan Anderson of the Xfinity Series, because he works so hard, and I've said now for a year or so that I think that Jordan Anderson's the hardest working driver in the Camping World Truck Series. But so that's just my first take on that, is that I am very happy for Ross Chastain for this opportunity. But I'm going to be honest with you, and you can call me out on it if you want to, but actually I believe it was last year that I was in the office, and we had some guys that were there from Hub, some guys that were there for race day, and Hollywood Jeff was actually in on this conversation as well. And it came up that would potentially work, that was a system that someone could game. And I say game, there may be a negative connotation with saying gaming the system, but come on, this is NASCAR. That's what you're supposed to do. That gray area, as long as it's not inherently forbade in the rules, that's something that, sometimes these guys, that they struggle sometimes to get to the track, to have that fast equipment. Sometimes they have to game that system. And that's exactly what they're supposed to do. You go get a championship, or you go get a spot in the playoffs to potentially sell you some more sponsors for next season. That's what you want to do. And so being able to carry that over, and I love Matt Weaver with his hypotheticals. He's very, very good at those. I think someone should put him on a team somewhere so that he can come up with all these loopholes and stuff for him and turn these hypotheticals. Turn these hypotheticals into reality. Say, hey guys, so we've thought about this. We talked about this in the media center. Do this, this, and this, and it will net you this result. And the results are what matter.
Exactly.
And so I'm very excited about the possibility of something like that happening. I definitely think that in fast equipment, that Ross Chastain can certainly do better. It does take some time. So that is one thing that's kind of, the downside of this is very rarely do you have a Kevin Harvick, Rodney Childers situation where you hit the ground running and you are immediately speaking the same language and work together so well right out of the gate. The 2014 season for the Ford team, brand new team that was put together in that organization, that's not really the common thing. Typically you have to learn what the crew chief says and how he says it and what it means, and same with input from the driver and what that means. So it's definitely a tall order, I believe, for Ross Chastain. I think he can do it. Do I think in reality that he will? Probably not, but it's going to be great to be able to see him in some premier equipment, some winning equipment, to see what he can potentially do. So hopefully, whenever it comes time to start sending out those decks and sending out those sponsorship requests and trying to get some time sold on the quarter panels of that car for 2019, he can say, well, I did this in this 42 car. I won my way into the second round of the playoffs. You see all this livery that was at the track whenever we got to Martinsville. Well, Xfinity's not in Martinsville, but you know what I mean. Whenever we got to, say, this track, my name and face was plastered everywhere. Don't you want your name and sponsor plastered everywhere that are with me? So I definitely think it's a good opportunity. It's opening some fast doors for Ross Chastain, and I'm excited to see it. We've got a handful of races left. Homestead is fast approaching, and I think we've got a lot of cool storylines in all three of the touring series as we start making our way to Florida.
Well, Chris, really quickly to tie into something CJ said, you got about 45 seconds, but we're already seeing somebody not really gaming the system, but using multiple cars to achieve an end in the playoffs. Look at Austin Cindric. He's run 3 cars this year, and he's in contention.
Yeah, and he's been really close to a win so many times, and I think he's going to be a real contender at Road America. So I will be looking for Austin Cindric to do that. And like you said, this is another great opportunity to at least prove himself, or Ross Chastain rather, in the Xfinity Series to maybe either lock another ride for next year or get some new sponsorship like CJ said.
We're going to get ready to go to a break here, and on the other side of that, we're going to talk about the biggest news of the day, because it wouldn't be NASCAR if they wasn't changing something. And we made a big change in the Xfinity and the Truck Series for 2019. What is that? We'll tell you exactly what it is coming up in just a couple of minutes. Newsflash, it might get more Cup drivers out of the lower series. That's where Tom's eyes get really big, and Tom gets very happy. We'll step aside. We're back with more Motorsports Madness right after this.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing, making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, is a lung disease that robs people of their ability to breathe. As many as 24 million Americans suffer from COPD, also known as chronic bronchitis or emphysema, and half of them don't know they have the disease. If you or someone you love is over 35 and has smoked more than 100 cigarettes in their lifetime, visit driveforcopd.org and take the screener, then take that to your doctor. I'm Jeff Stoltz, and I drive for COPD.
Hi, I'm Chase Cabre, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now, back to the show.
All right, y'all, we're back on Motorsports Madness, live on any number of different places. Race Chaser Media Facebook page, Performance Motorsports Network, Spreaker. We're on demand via about 10 different platforms that you can look up. Go wherever you look for your favorite podcast, and we're probably there. Just search Race Chaser Radio.
And syndicated around the world via Sports Byline USA to the American Forces Network and a large number of US AM/FM broadcast stations and all their digital platforms. So,
I was getting there.
yeah.
I start the spiel, you finish it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All
right.
Teamwork
Jacob
makes the
Seelman,
dream
Tom
work.
Baker,
That's right.
Chris Murdock, Hunter Smith, and joined by our buddy from NASCAR on Fox, CJ Woliver, as we talk rules changes, because it wouldn't be a show talking NASCAR if we didn't have some sort of rules change to talk about. But this is a positive, and I'm going to let the guy who always talks about positives when it comes to getting less Cup guys in the Xfinity and Truck Series to talk about this. So, Tom,
Yes.
positives about NASCAR making the change today that for 2019, if a team runs a Cup driver and they win, they no longer get the playoff benefits in the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series for that win. Yes, you can still make the playoff on points, but there's a whole lot less incentive now to run a Cup guy and win unless you're just Kyle Busch and you want to.
Well, I mean, it's not just for Kyle, and the same is true in the Truck Series. The rule is in the Xfinity Series, it doesn't get playoff points unless it's either an Xfinity regular or a Truck Series regular.
Right, you can come up, you just can't
go
drop down.
And in the Truck Series, it has to be a Truck Series regular.
Yep.
So that's the way that works. And I like this because it's kind of a backdoor way of, as you said, disincentivizing the teams from running Cup drivers in bunches of races. But it does it without limiting the number of starts any further that you can make.
Right. It's still 7 and 5 that we know of.
Right. At least for the Owners' Championship, it won't affect. And really, that was the biggest benefit that NASCAR was trying to make, was they were trying to keep the playoffs strictly for the series regulars.
Yep.
Yeah, in terms of I think this is a positive change, as you said, and I don't think that it really is going to have a huge effect on Cup drivers running in the series. I think the ones that do, like Kyle Busch, like Keselowski and Logano, even like Kevin Harvick, those are the drivers that I think it's kind of driven as much by sponsorship as anything else. And in Harvick's case, that car really isn't
It's
an owner's
not a
title.
full-time car, yeah.
It's not a full-time car. So, and neither is the 12 car for Penske.
Right.
So I don't know that we see a huge effect on sort of those groups of Cup drivers. I just think it makes the playoffs even more of a level playing field now, and that's okay. That's a good change.
Yeah. Hunter, I was looking actually at some of the scenarios, and if we went ahead and applied the 19 rules to this year's playoffs, it wouldn't necessarily change a whole lot, but there was one big thing that I noticed that would change about the 18 playoffs if we had next year's rules already in place. That win that the 3 team got with Austin Dillon at Michigan earlier this year, they're low enough in regular season owner points that they actually would not qualify for the playoffs under this same scenario with the 2019 rules. So it's not a whole lot necessarily would be different, but like Tom said, I love that we're leveling the playing field that much more.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I definitely think that it makes it level across the board. If your driver has a good shot at the playoffs, your team's got a good shot at their individualized playoffs as well as far as the owner points go. But I don't think, I agree with Tom, I don't think it'll really deter the Cup guys from really running the races that they kind of ran this year. It's like, Kyle Busch can go run that 18 car in X amount of however many races he wants. If he
7. Yep.
Yeah, if he goes and wins, that's still max points. You just don't get the playoff points or the the automatic berth and the owner points.
Yep.
But I think those teams that this is targeted for won't be affected much by it.
All right, CJ, so we know the motto in the Xfinity Series is names are made here. We're trying to make more of the series regulars, really in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series. What do you make of the change? And I'll add to this, too. There were a couple other caveats today. We're shrinking the Xfinity field to 38, and the Dash for Cash for 2019 remains exactly where it was this year. So all that's good. But, what do you make of some of the changes that were announced today?
I'm going to be honest, and my opinion on it is pretty quick and easy. I don't think it really changes anything. Honestly, I don't think that just not having that win incentive, okay, but you run Kyle Busch in 7 races in a season, and yeah, you're not really going to have to worry about those playoff win benefits. But here's the thing of, as far as my take and my opinion on this, and I know that amongst maybe some of the fans and insiders and media and that sort of thing, that it's not really a popular opinion, but I am not as anti-Cup Series guys in the Xfinity and the Truck Series as a lot of people. And the reason for that is it kind of, and my point on this and my thoughts on this were kind of solidified at Bristol this year for the Xfinity Series, the Dash for Cash race. We knew a year in advance almost that there would be no Cup drivers in that race, right? This is going to be a Dash for Cash event. It would be all Xfinity regulars or no full-time Cup guys, that sort of thing,
right,
in that race. And so we've all said that's supposed to make it a better show. That's supposed to give these young guys a chance to win. Fans have been, as we thought, supposedly begging and asking for this for years and years. So the stands at Bristol should have been packed, or at least comparable to years in the past. There was no Kyle Busch in the field. There was no Joey Logano in the field. There was no Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, none of those guys. They were not in the field, right? And I know we've had some grandstand issues as far as filling the seats over the last few years. That Bristol race for the Xfinity Series had very few people in the stands. And I understand that it's, you want to see these guys that are running for a championship. You want to see them go out and you want to see them win. And, of course, they want to win too, but they also don't want to be handed wins. And I know that we don't hand anybody anything in this sport as far as wins go, but these guys that are winning and they're beating the Kyle Busches, they're beating the Joey Logano's, that means more. The drivers will tell you themselves, I like having Cup Series drivers in this field. It helps make us better. It helps make us realize what we're going to have to race against once we get to the Cup Series if we're looking to make that jump in our career. And I know it's I am so glad that solving this problem as far as Cup Series guys in the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series is not a problem that I have to fix, because I have no idea how to fix it. Because not only does I think it hurts the ticket buyers, because they want to come see their favorites, they want to come see the Cup guys, they want to come see the Kyle Busches and the Brad Keselowskis and the Kevin Harvicks, so they don't buy tickets. But I also think it really hurts these teams, because they tell people, hey, you want to sponsor this car? You sponsor it for the full year, and you're going to get Christopher Bell, just hypothetically, you're going to get, let's say, Ryan Preece in this car for X amount of races, but you're also going to get Kyle Busch in this, and this race if you sign this check.
Okay.
So they sign that check. And I think it's just a tough thing to scale back. And it's honestly, guys, it's the Kyle Busch problem. It's the Kyle Busch rule. Nobody ever complains about Brad Keselowski running Xfinity races. Nobody ever complains about Joey Logano running them.
Negative.
It's because Kyle Busch is so
Not
good
true.
at it.
I've been complaining about Cup guys in the next series down, because it's had like 3 names since the time, since Mark Martin made a mockery of it in the Winn-Dixie car when he won like every race he ever ran in the series by about 3 laps, or at least it seemed that way. He never ran a full season, but here's my deal with this. Okay, you bring up the crowd issue. Tell me how much better the crowd is at any racetrack when you have Cup guys in the Xfinity race. Very
better than what I saw at Bristol for the Xfinity Series. The
very
Bristol
minimal.
Xfinity Series was real light.
Very minimal. Okay, it doesn't matter. The crowd doesn't matter. Here's the point of this: you promote this series as, names are made here, and then you have Cup guys who win almost every time they're entered. Cup guys win. I mean, the last 2-3 seasons in Xfinity, the Cup guys have pretty much dominated. So I'm looking at, CJ, the product on the track. And the race, to me, is much better. People are watching from afar, wherever. They're not coming to the Xfinity Series races no matter who you run in them. You would have to literally be able to bring Dale Earnhardt back in order to get a crowd back in the Xfinity Series. What they need to do with that series, put them on more short tracks and more road courses and differentiate it more from the Cup Series, and then you'll see a crowd specifically for that series. That's my take on it.
Well, I think that's correct. I think there are a lot of issues with the Xfinity Series, but still, if you did that, you're still going to have Cup drivers in that field.
Yeah,
and
occasionally,
and we say names are made here. They are. That's how we know. Christopher Bell. That's where the William Byron. Their names were made in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series. And the main issue here, though, honestly, if we're being honest, I think the preferable fix to this, and I don't know, there probably are some issues.
Got about 10 seconds, CJ.
The trouble is we have Cup guys running in Cup teams in the Xfinity Series. Make these Cup guys have to run with the guys that are toward the back. Like if they're in the top 15 in points, Cup guys can't run with them. That's my fix for it.
All right, we're going to step aside. Always fun having CJ on. We appreciate it, bud. We hope to have you back soon.
Hey, that was great. I enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, we'll take a break. Be back with more Motorsports Madness right after this.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Motivation, That is the word I'm going to use in response to Noah Gragson bringing us back from break to this episode of
Today's
Motorsports
word
Madness.
of the day.
Yes, is motivation. And that is Noah Gragson's word of the playoffs because he is driving for the crew chief that has won 2 of the last 3 drivers' championships. And when I spoke to him on Tuesday during Truck Series Playoff Media Day at the Fox Sports studio, which one more time we're going to say thank you to CJ Woliver who joined us for the first half hour of tonight's show from NASCAR on Fox. That was fun. We had a good time. But Noah is motivated. He is fired up, especially after being sick, Chris, and having to sit out Pocono. Noah is amped up, ready to chase this championship. He knows that the championship pedigree of Rudy Fugel's teams, I'm not even going to call it the 18 team because it wasn't the 18 team last year, it was the 4 team, but the championship pedigree that Rudy Fugel has built with his drivers, Noah knows he's got a reputation to uphold here, and I think he's ready to go do it. People are talking about him being the weakest link in the big 3 in the Truck Series. I don't buy it.
You always comes a point to where you just got to step up and step to the plate, and I think Noah Gragson has now realized that he's made it to the playoffs. He can breathe a little bit for right now, and now he's going to go out and just completely open up on him and try to motivate himself to go out there and do the best that he can. Not saying that he doesn't do the best that he can always, but kind of minimize the mistakes, minimize putting your maximum effort and try to get out there and win some races. I think he's really, in his mindset, I think he's a championship contender because he's got the champion's mindset right
Absolutely. Now, and see, I want to add to this because I was thinking about this the other day. Noah really has put himself in a whole lot better position than he probably should be in playoff standings right now because he's made a killing on going out and winning stages during the regular season.
Yeah.
The problem with that is he's only won 1 race at Kansas, and that's not going to be good enough in these playoffs when you're talking about Johnny Sauter, who's won 5 times already this season, Brett Moffitt, who's won 4 times already this season. So, Tom, Noah Gragson, point blank, and he said as much too, has to step it up if he's going to be a champion this year.
So the question is, I think we ought to go around the table and see if any of us believe that Noah Gragson will be your champion at the end of the season.
I say he's second. I'm going to start. Normally, I save myself.
Put Jacob down for a no.
Normally, I go last when we go around the table. But my answer is no. He's going to come up second to Johnny Sauter, but he's going to give it one hell of an effort.
Okay.
Hunter.
No. Oh, the question was yes or no. I'm going to say no. If you're talking where he's finishing, I don't even think he's in the top 3. That's just me.
Wow. Ouch. Do you think he makes Homestead with a shot?
I think he makes Homestead, but there are
Ends
a
up
lot
fourth?
of third or fourth.
Okay.
Maybe third or fourth. I think I don't know. I don't comment on the video, whatever you want, but I just don't see him competing with a veteran in Johnny Sauter, a driver in Brett Moffitt, a hard-nosed person who wants this more than anything like Stuart Friesen, drivers like Justin Haley, and even Grant Enfinger. There are so many other guys that consistently every week are getting the finishes that they need to get that I think they pose a big threat.
Okay. Chris skipped over Tom, but that
go
works.
ahead, Chris. That's fine.
Or if you want to go.
No.
Okay, all right. I think, going off of the mindset, I just don't think he's got it this year. He's got the mindset that is going to be a championship, and maybe that'll get him to Homestead, like Hunter said. But I just don't think he's got it this year. He struggled in some tracks. He hasn't had the best luck. I really just don't think it's in the heart of the cards for Noah Gragson this year. Like I'll agree with I'll agree with Jacob and say I think Johnny Sauter's pretty much a good shoe for this championship. He's been on a crazy path this season, winning 5 races, and Brett Moffitt, like I said earlier today, Tom, you'll have to watch out for him because he can just sneak in and sweep anything out from anybody at any time.
If wanted, counted, and could put somebody over the edge, Noah Gragson would win this championship. I don't believe he does. I will disagree with everyone at this table who says Johnny Sauter's going to win because I think Chris mentioned the driver who's going to win this championship. Brett Moffitt's going to win this title.
All right. I'll let that segue right into the second big bullet point of Truck Series Playoff Media Day. Before Brett Moffitt can have a shot at winning this championship, Brett Moffitt has to be playoff eligible throughout the entire playoff first, and there's not a guarantee that that is going to happen. They have one race in the first round and one race in the second round that they have no sponsorship for right now, and when I asked Brett point blank during the playoff press conference whether there was a commitment, even if they didn't have sponsorship, to run those two races, Brett looked at me with a very nervous look on his face and said he really didn't have a good answer to that because he wasn't sure if they would be able to run those races without sponsorship.
Okay, then here's my plea. I'm going to look into our camera here.
You're not going to get up and go over to the camera.
I'm not going to get up. No, I'm too lazy for that. But I'm going to look at the camera here, and I'm going to say this. Dear GMS Racing, okay, so the other big news of the day, Dalton Sargent out of the 25, Spencer Gallagher in it. If Brett Moffitt cannot put together, or the team can't put together enough sponsorship for a championship run, dear GMS, please put Brett Moffitt in the 25 and keep this kid's championship hopes alive. Better yet, dear somebody with a lot of money, please sponsor this truck. All the kid does is win. I mean, I can't believe this team is having this much trouble getting sponsorship when this kid probably shows more grit, more heart, and the ability to win at about any track on the schedule. Somebody get behind this team already. This is tragic if he isn't able to remain in the playoffs.
I don't disagree with that sentiment. I firmly say it's tragic too. I'm just stating the reality of what was told to us on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, because like I said, the kid and the team have proven that they're championship capable, and I believe if they can keep this going, I think he actually wins.
Brett said the key, the key for him, they've sold Canada and they've sold Vegas. Talladega is where they have an issue in round 1, and Texas is where they have an issue in round 2. So he said the goal for him in these first 2 races is to get himself locked in so that, Talladega is not an issue. If all he has to do is find a way to be in a seat for Talladega, I think he's certainly capable of doing that and making sure that he can keep his driver's championship hopes alive. But that's what Brett said to me, is that he wants to make sure he's already locked in before the second round before they ever get to Talladega. That's
that would be the way to do it, because that's certainly Talladega's. You know how that goes.
Right.
It's basically a wild card.
Right. So, third point from Playoff Media Day, the underdogs. And I'm going to name one in particular who is very excited about how this first round goes, and I think he could win his way to the second round this weekend, start off with a statement. And the GMS truck I'm looking at is not Johnny Sauter, Hunter. Justin Haley pushed Sauter to the win at Daytona in February. He likes the plate tracks. And he's spent more time road racing in the last 2 years than most of these guys have spent road racing in their entire life.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with that. I think Justin Haley could. I don't even consider Justin Haley an underdog, though. I think
I do.
I think he's got a. I think if you're looking at underdogs, you're looking at your Infingers, Stuart Friesen, possibly.
Wait. Hold the phone. Stuart Friesen is not an underdog. Not after running in the top 5 like 6 times.
On a road course, maybe.
Okay, yeah, on a road course.
But yeah, Justin Haley has a very good shot this
weekend.
I
will say, Jacob, in terms of want it like Tom has, I think Justin Haley has Noah Gragson beat. He's been all over social media just promoting the heck out of his run going into this championship.
Full send.
He's ready to go. he is full send.
I don't think he wants it worse than Gregson. Obviously, he's expressing.
Let me finish. I think he definitely has more of a consistent run this season than Gregson, and I will say that Justin Haley should be a threat to win this championship.
The numbers actually disagree with you, Chris. Noah Gragson has the longest streak of top 10 finishes in the Truck Series right now coming into this playoff. He has been in the top 10 in 10 straight truck races that he's entered going all the way back to well before Pocono. So Gregson's actually the most consistent driver right now in the field. Now, he's not been able to turn that into wins, which I think is going to be his downfall, but
I think if you go back and you look at how many of those races he was actually contending for wins and top fives, it might be a little bit different. But I definitely think that in recent races, I think Justin has definitely been the guy of the two of them. But both of them have huge heart, and I don't think anybody wants it more than Noah. My problem is I think Noah may want it a little too much.
Yeah.
You know, Noah tends to race with his emotions on his sleeve, and if they can just get him past that and get him to just settle down and relax, he probably would be fine, Hunter. But I think my concern for Noah would be he wants a little too much, and he pushes and makes a mistake that hurts him.
I totally agree with that. And you guys are talking about that want it. And that's a great thing to have.
They all want it.
You need a driver that wants it. Well, it's like,
Yep.
I want a house on Lake Norman. Am I going to work my butt off for it? Absolutely.
You can have it if the price is right.
That's it. But what it comes down to is the performing. You know, you can go out and tell everybody how bad you want it all you want, but until you get on that track and you go do it, doesn't mean pretty much anything. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So your guys, I always liked the guys who are staying quiet and they go out and they win races. Stuart Friesen and Johnny Sauter do not talk much. They go do their thing. They
Stuart hasn't won yet.
Yeah.
Let's be clear.
I think once Stuart, he's been second place quite often.
Yeah.
He's been a bridesmaid a lot this year.
Yeah.
And I think he, to be completely honest, growing up in the dirt background and having a little bit of background, knowing Stuart or whatever, but he just wants to win.
I'm going to disagree with you in the standpoint of Johnny Sauter not talking much. Johnny Sauter was very vocal on Tuesday to the point that he said he would wreck anybody that tried to drive through him.
Yeah, Johnny's always talking.
Yeah. Now, I'm giving
difficult to get Johnny to stop talking.
Yes. I'm giving this last bullet point about a minute and a half because I really feel like that's all this is worth, Tom.
Uh-oh.
We had an auction earlier today. Front Row Motorsports officially acquiring the rest of BK Racing. They already had a charter. Now they have the rest of the team and the other charter. I mean, they got it for just over $2 million. I'd call that a steal. Is this really news, aside from the fact that, hey, it's done?
If you're asking me in David Letterman style, is this anything? Yes, it's something because Front Row now has 4 charters.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I feel like they're stockpiling.
That leads us to suspect that perhaps we may see a 3rd Front Row car next year. However, in terms of what they got, I mean, I don't expect Front Row to run this team next year as a full-time team, Jacob. I think you'll see some sort of a melding, or they may sell somebody.
I was going to say
off.
somebody has to operate it as a full-time team, or the charter goes away. And NASCAR won't let there be less than 36 charters. So wherever that charter ends up going, whether Front Row keeps it or not, somebody has to run it as a full-time team. The question
they could
is
lease
who.
it out.
Right.
Well, yeah, but again,
That's
even
what
if
I'm
they
saying.
lease it out to somebody,
Doesn't mean the team itself, the cars have to run.
Yeah. Well, yes, it does. If you have a charter, even if it's leased to somebody, whoever it's leased to has to operate it as a full-time team.
Yes, but that team, the BK Racing assets, doesn't mean they have to compete.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
We're taking a break. More after this. You're listening to Motorsports Madness, and we're back in a moment.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend. My brother. My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
I'm Dalton Sargent. You're listening to Race Talk on Performance Motorsports Network.
I can actually say I planned that because I did. This is when I wanted to bring this up, because Dalton Sargent, bringing us back to Motorsports Madness, and the latest madness is that Dalton Sargent is no longer at GMS Racing. Tom
Yes.
Baker.
I mentioned that in the last segment. Yeah, it's that's a tough situation for Dalton, because I feel like, and this is an assumption on my part, but just from the general feel of both sides' releases, I think it sounded like maybe this just was a sponsorship situation where, there was no more money to have, or at least a temporary break in the money that was there for Dalton to race the truck. Because GMS made it pretty clear in their release that they'd love to have him back.
Right.
So, certainly it doesn't seem like on their part that, there was any animosity or any negative situations. So, yeah, Spencer Gallagher in the truck for now. It's not for sure that he's going to run it the rest of the season, but
they made it sound like the way they worded it was that Spencer would be running it until some other resolution to the situation was found.
Yeah, or maybe a different driver, something comes along. But again, tough situation for Dalton, and I sure hope he is able to find something, or at least 419.
Chris, I like Tom's point, by the way, that perhaps if this situation isn't resolved quickly, that maybe if the sponsorship falls through on the Hattori truck, Brett Moffitt could slide in that 25 truck to keep his driver's hopes alive.
I do think that we see that a lot nowadays, and especially with the situation between Cindric with, Roush and Penske. So I feel like that would be a good alternative for Brett or to fulfill his season out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. If he needs it,
Yeah.
exactly. We're hoping he doesn't, because I want to see that 16 truck make it happen, finish the year, and hopefully Brett Moffitt, if Brett wins the drivers' championship, then that gives Hattori the owners' championship as well, which, good grief, for them would be as big a deal as Furniture Row winning the Cup Series championship, because this is an underdog team that's literally clawed their way from the very bottom of the series all the way up into contention.
But it is interesting that in a scenario where we just talked about Chastain being able to jump back and forth, it opens the door
Brett
maybe
Moffitt.
for Moffitt in the truck series, if possible.
Yeah.
Speculation.
Second half of this show coming up in just a couple of minutes. This is Motorsports Madness. We're just getting started. We'll be right back with more in a moment.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of Internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
If you're a gearhead and you just can't get enough of your favorite motorsports on that channel on the cable, or you look at that Guy network and you just go, what does that have to do with me? We have the answer. Performance Motorsports Network. Right here on the internet. The best cruise and tunes, the best in motorsports programming, and the best shows. We have opinionated hosts, and we like it that way. If you want to get involved, if you want to bench race, be listening for information coming up soon right here on this channel, the Performance Motorsports Network, your source for motorsports.
I'm an HRA Pro Stock Racer, Tanner Gray, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, and we are starting the second half of tonight's show. If you're just joining us, welcome. If you're continuing to join us, welcome back. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Chris Murdock, Hunter Smith around the round table. We're going to be joined coming up in this half of the program by Liam Thompson, who is an international racer that's doing a lot of fun things that he will tell us and tell you all about coming up in a few minutes. But before we get too deep into the second half of our program, Chris Murdock, penalty report. And, well, the Xfinity Series got smacked around a little bit this week, and we had the biggest lug nut penalties we've had since the rule was implemented, and Austin Cindric and Spencer Boyd, not good, guys, not good.
Yeah, I don't know how many times it takes a team to figure out that, you know, it's not hard to spot a missing lug nut when you're going down pit road.
Let alone 3 of them.
Exactly. So, I mean, you're not going to get away with it, so why do it? I mean, I know some people hope for a pit stop so they can sneak that extra lug nut back on there, but when you're missing 3, come on now, guys. Just get it together.
So, 35 points, driver and owner, $20,000 fine, and a three race vacation. Yeah, easy for me to say.
The word 3?
The 3 race thing was what was screwing me up. 3 race vacation for the respective crew chiefs. Now, for the crew chief of the 12 car, Tom, I'm really not sure how big a deal this actually is, because I'm not sure we're going to see that 12, but for maybe one more time before the playoffs start, because we know once the playoffs start, Cindric's in the 22. So,
could I do my best? Does everybody remember Chris Berman?
I don't.
ESPN. Yeah, football guy. His basically, when you do an imitation of Berman, I can do my reaction to the 12 for the 12 team. That's basically the reaction of the 12 team, because they're not. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I do think, though, Hunter, the fact that we're talking about this and the fact that we're talking about the maximum sanctions for lug nut penalties after a year and a half, this is not something NASCAR wants to get in the habit of, and yikes. I mean, they hammered them.
Yeah, definitely. The lug nut penalty is something that's, should be known by now.
Hello.
I would
If you
agree
don't
on
know
that.
Not hard, guys.
Not hard. Depending on the situation, I guess I can understand it a little bit at some points, but yeah, definitely harsh for one of the teams that got handed penalties this week.
All right, so with that, we are going to go ahead and wind this little segment up, and we are going to get ready to talk to Liam Thompson coming up right around the turn. So if you got some friends that aren't paying attention, go get them, tell them to pay attention to us here in the next segment, because you're going to want to meet this young man. He is doing a lot of great things across a big pond, and you'll get to meet him when we come back. This is Motorsports Madness, and we continue in just a moment.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing. You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Every 30 minutes, another innocent person is killed due to a drunk driver.
My best friend.
My brother.
My poor grandchild.
My sister.
My father.
My husband.
My mom. My mommy.
Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you.
Stop these tragedies before they happen. Don't drink and drive.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that helped me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Matt Tift, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
There's Cisco's trombones.
Yeah.
But Cisco no here.
76 trombones, but Cisco's with us in production spirit tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, doing all our video production, not part of the hosting team this evening.
Yeah.
But happy nonetheless, and I'm sure Steve Evans is somewhere happy as well because he made it. So
you're listening, and for those of you who are on the Race Chaser Media Facebook page watching Motorsports Madness, Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Chris Murdock, Hunter Smith, and because I haven't played with the camera enough to do it right, I'm not going to try and point at the box that now holds Liam Thompson, who is joining us right now, 18 years old, and our first international guest. So, Liam, first off, welcome, and for everybody out there who may be paying attention and going, who's Liam Thompson, fill everybody in on who your background, who you are, and what you're up to this year.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's awesome to be here. For those that don't know me, I'm a race car driver. I've been racing since I was 7 years old. I started in karting. But when I was 12, my dad was diagnosed with cancer, so we stepped up into car racing when I was 12. We were mainly doing motorcarnas, carnacrosses, hill climbs, all of that, until 2016, where I stepped up into circuit racing. We raced in the Australia Production Car Series with my co-driver Alexandra. We won on debut at Phillip Island, so it's pretty good.
It's awesome.
And then we lost the championship by 3 points at the end of the year, so it's pretty disappointing. But 2017 we moved over to the UK, where I raced all around the UK on their circuits, some of the best tracks in the world. Got a race on Silverstone, Brands Hatch, and my favourite, Knockhill, up in Scotland. And then hopefully next year I'll be racing GTs somewhere around the world.
I like that, Tom.
Wow.
Somewhere around the world. He's not even specifying
He doesn't
yet.
care. Just give him a race car, and he'll just jump in and drive the heck out of it.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about. I know that you have a pretty regimented training program and a trainer with at least one pretty famous accomplishment. We've got Hunter Smith here, who's from Fit Stop Performance, and he's our fitness guru. He's going to make a thin man out of me here coming up after Labor Day. So good luck to him on that. Talk a little bit about your training regimen for us, and talk about your trainer.
Yep. So I've been training for around 2 years now with my trainer. His name is Phil Young. He's trained a lot of high-profile race car drivers. He trained Jenson Button when he won the World Championship, and he trains various GT drivers and supercar drivers, and also a lot of young kids like myself. Basically, I do a lot of fatigue training, so we basically work me to the bone. I'll be exhausted, and I'd still have to perform at a level when I first got in the car. So, because you have to be so physically fit to drive a race car driver, and also mentally. Any loss of concentration, or it could cost you seconds and 2 seconds, or even put you out of the race. So.
Now, Liam, you talked earlier about the fact you moved to the UK to pursue some racing for a little while, but you're now back in Australia, correct?
Yep, yeah, I am.
So talk a little bit about what you've been doing as far as racing recently, and kind of looking forward a little bit, what you're hoping to do as we get closer to next season. It's hard to believe we're already getting ready to talk about next season.
Not far.
Yeah. So last year I was racing in a junior series, and I also got to test a driver British touring car. So that was pretty fun.
Nice.
At Brands Hatch with Team Hard. So that was a good learning experience.
What was that like? Tell us about driving that.
Oh, it was fun. Sequential gearbox, 350 horsepower. It was a lot of fun. It was damp conditions too, so it was pretty cool. Hopefully in next year, I want to race GTs, GT4, GT3, whatever. Because I love endurance racing. I've always has since the Australian production cars. I love doing 4-hour, 6-hour races above that too. Next year I want to race in the Bathurst 6-hour, so that should be a good experience. So.
Now, what kind of interest would you have? I saw the announcement come out that they're going to, I guess, restart the kind of Australian IndyCar type series for next season. I saw something about that. I don't know how much you've seen of that, but I mean, does the open wheel, open cockpit style of racing appeal to you at all?
I'll drive anything really, like any car, anywhere. I don't mind.
But it's not
as long
your
as I have the
preference,
money
though.
for it.
You're hoping to stay with the sports car racing if you could? I mean, what is your ultimate goal? Would it be like the Australian Supercar Series, or?
My ultimate goal's Probably World Endurance Championship, but I would love to race supercars. I've always dreamed of doing it since I was a little kid. So.
All right, so I'll ask you this, Liam. What is it about endurance racing that is so appealing to you that you have such a love for?
I guess that so much can happen. Like, you could make a mistake within the first lap, but since it's a 6-hour race, you have 6 hours to make that mistake up. For example, we were racing at Sydney with my Australian production cars, and the power steering went, and I think we were leading, and it sent my co-driver into the gravel, and she brought it in, and I hopped in, and I think we were like a minute something behind, and we had like, I don't know, it's like an hour and a half left or something, and because it's such a long race, I was able to claw back like a minute something, and by the last lap, I was on the back of the two. So,
wow, good stuff. I'm curious, how do you get a chance to watch a lot of American racing? If so, what do you watch, and kind of what's the view over there, the perspective on some of the American racing from where you are?
Yeah, I'm pretty busy to watch American racing. I did watch NASCAR. I did watch the Daytona 500, and I do like the IndyCar racing.
Okay.
As well as the IMSA championship, the weather.
Sure.
Sports Car championship. So I do enjoy watching that. I've been pretty busy though, but the Australians like NASCAR a lot and IndyCar a lot, but they also tend to watch supercars a lot too.
So for you, Liam, real quick, I'm curious, since you bring up IMSA, if there were ever an opportunity to present itself in the States for something along the lines of an IMSA ride, would that be something you'd be interested in pursuing?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I love the States, like your racetracks you guys got there. They're much different compared to Australian racetracks. Like our racetracks, we have good racetracks, but they're quite boring a bit. Your ones have, some of them are flowing better and all that, so.
So he just called our tracks boring, Tom.
No, he called his tracks boring.
He called his tracks
Yeah, he said he likes ours better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's going to have all his Australian friends mad at him, but all the Americans that are listening are going to be like, yeah, this is great. Great publicity. Well, that would be fun to be able to see you come stateside. We love the Aussies over here. We've got a couple in sprint car racing, and of course we have Marcus Ambrose for a while, and we loved him here.
Aussies just know how to have fun when it comes to their racing.
Yes, they do. Well, they just know how to have fun, period.
Well, that's the absolute truth. And Liam, hang on. We're going to take a quick break here, slide in a quick break, but for those watching and listening, we will have more with Liam Thompson coming up right after this business. So stick around, and we are going to continue with Motorsports Madness, whether you're watching live on the Race Chaser Media Facebook page or listening via PMN, Spreaker, AFN, all that good stuff. If you can find us, keep it tuned right here, and we will have more right after this.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit coopercorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves the majority of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, Camping World Truck, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schuberth helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on only one thing: making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the HMS staff is always ready to take the time to help you find the right product for your safety needs. Don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop in to HMS Motorsport. Visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com or send them a message on Facebook and tell them the folks from PMN Radio sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm modified driver Matt Hirschman. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Diversity. We're good at that. We talk about
That's right.
everything on this show. Welcome back to Motorsports Madness. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker. Well, Chris Murdock was in the chair until he wasn't, but he'll be back shortly.
He'll be back.
Hunter Smith. And on production, we have both Randy Miller and Cisco Scaramuzza. Cisco's playing the disembodied clicker that's handling all the video stuff tonight.
Disembodied clicker.
Otherwise known as the wizards in the TV screen that we have across the room.
That's a triple word score in Scrabble, I think. Or at least if you're playing dictionary.
Something like that. Anyway, we're joined in the box off to slightly below us there by Liam Thompson, who is an international racer who, as he's been talking here with us in the last segment, will pretty much race anything, anywhere just about. I mean, Liam, you've been all over the place, and I know talking about racing that maybe you haven't done, but obviously Australia has a lot of diversity in their racers and their racing. I know Hunter had a question for you.
Yeah, definitely. I want to know, how much do you follow the sprint car racing? I know sprint car racing, the oval dirt track stuff is kind of big down there. We see Tony Stewart and some of those guys go down there, during our winter here to come race there. So do you follow much of that, or do you see much of it around where you are?
Not so much around where I am, but I do follow it on Facebook and that. My trainer trains a couple of drivers that race in it, so.
That's awesome. Would you have any interest in potentially trying something like that out?
Oh, I'd love to.
That's the answer I wanted to hear.
That's a racer's racer right there.
There's only one of two answers that we ever get when we ask somebody about trying out a 410 sprint car. We either get, oh, yeah, I'd love to, or, heck, no, I ain't going anywhere near that thing. And that was kind of Ryan Blaney's response after when he was younger.
When he was younger. Now he'd love to do it because it's
sure
his granddad's,
yeah.
His granddad and his family's lineage. But I remember Ryan when he was a little kid, he didn't want anything to do with it. I still harass him about that every once in a while, but that's a story for another day. Liam, obviously been a ton of fun having you involved with the program tonight. So before we let you on out of here for the show, I want to give you a chance to give a shout out to any sponsors or supporters, anybody who you need to say thank you to that helps make racing happen for Liam Thompson.
Yeah, thanks for that. First off, I just want to thank all my sponsors, V-Box Motorsport, GP Human Performance, and Go Bobby. If anyone needs a domain name, contact him. I also want to thank all my followers for sticking with me for the past 3 years. And I also want to big thanks to my mum and dad for always being there for me. And finally, just thanks to you guys for letting me come on the program. It's been a lot of fun.
We've had a blast. We'll have you back on again here. Before we let you go, though, how can people follow you on social media?
Yep, sure. My Facebook page is Liam Thompson Racing. It's all the same across all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel where I post my onboard videos, so it's all there.
IndyCar. We love IndyCar. That's good stuff. Okay. Do you have a website?
Not yet. It's in the building stage.
In process. Okay, so go follow him on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Liam Thompson Racing. And Liam, thanks again for being on. We appreciate it, and have yourself a great rest of the day over there, and we'll catch up with you again down the road.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
That's Liam Thompson. That was cool.
Yes.
That was really cool.
He's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, fine young man, and definitely he's got a good background. He started in karting, then went to the cars, and he's, as he said, he's focused a lot on the touring series stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting over there because the perspective is, you love to run supercars, and we're big fans, obviously, of supercars on this show.
Absolutely.
And so it would be fun to see him do that someday, and then maybe come over here and run some IMSA stuff.
Yes, we will keep our fingers crossed on that one. And certainly as we get future information on Liam, we'll be sure to keep everybody in the listening and viewing audience updated on what's going on for him. So we'll transition back into more news of the day and all that fun stuff. And we talked about earlier how crazy some everything has been, and want to shift over to, as you mentioned, Tom, the Aussies are relaunching their version of IndyCar for next year. We'll go to our IndyCar and actually talk about that for a couple minutes and offer an update on the health status of Robert Wickens, who was injured following last week's event at Pocono Raceway, that scary crash that he went through in turn number 2, underwent thoracic spine surgery for a fracture there and a spinal cord injury on Monday evening, and is in stable condition. We know that, Tom. That's very good. I think, honestly, and this is the vibe that I've gotten from a lot of people over the last couple of days, it's always concerning and always a little unnerving for all of us in racing when you talk about a spinal cord injury, because it's really hard to know medically exactly what all that's going to entail. Obviously, in recent years, we've seen it with the accident that Kevin Swindell had at Knoxville Raceway that paralyzed him, and we obviously don't want to speculate on this, but certainly our thoughts and prayers continue to be with the Wickens family, and we hope that it's not something so serious that we will be able to see him return to a race car after his recovery is complete.
Yeah, it's this is one of those situations that's very touch and go. And Hunter, you've got some insight into this a little bit on exactly what his body has gone through, and I'll let you just talk a little bit from your perspective as a fitness expert on this situation as best you can.
Yeah, so first and foremost, obviously our thoughts and prayers are with Robert Wickens and his family and close friends at this time. Talking about this, I saw a lot of speculation on social media, obviously after they've been releasing updates on Robert Wickens and what's going on. And obviously, as the general public, we don't have too much information out of respect for the family's privacy and all that kind of stuff. We don't have too much information, but we do know that it was a thoracic spine injury and what he's going through. So that part of the spine is up kind of in between the shoulder blades. It's up top here. It's not in the bottom, which, the bottom of the spine is known as the paralyzer. So we don't, just from my own seeing, and this is everything just what I'm reading from the updates that we've been given, this won't traumatically affect lower half of his body. It shouldn't. But if you do rewatch the video, and it is a little gruesome, you do see his head hanging down, and this is the part of the spine that connects the neck that is connected to the neck, which is where a lot of the this is where a lot of the concern was in the upper spine into his neck. So they put a lot of pins and they put needles in and all that kind of stuff to kind of stabilize that, which if that's stabilized, that's good. It's a long road to recovery for that part of the spine to kind of keep you straight up and make sure you're not hunched over for the rest of your life and whatnot. So I'm sure his folks over at PitFit in Indiana are going to work well with him with his recovery. But this is definitely could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I think we're all thankful it wasn't any worse than what it was, not just for Robbie, but for everybody that was involved in the crash. I mean, you consider as he was coming through the air, the broken roll hoop on Hunter Ray's car and
right over top.
How close Ryan came to potentially being injured. You had Pietro Fittipaldi, who was just coming back from injury not a couple weeks ago and slamming into Hinchcliffe's car, and both Fittipaldi and Hinchcliffe get away pretty much unscathed. I know there was concern for a little bit about Hinch's wrists potentially being hurt, but no harm there. And I think the biggest thing that came out of this, Tom, too, is that the team revealed a couple days ago that Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports will not field the number 6 Honda this weekend at Gateway.
No, and you have to wonder what the status of that car is going forward. We can obviously sit here and talk about, well, wouldn't it be great if maybe Connor Daly, or someone else.
Yeah.
But I think the team needed time. And,
I agree.
They obviously should take all the time they need, but certainly there are drivers out there that could be capable replacements until Robbie would be able to come back. I'm just thinking that this, at some point, and I don't know that this is still too soon, but at some point we probably need to have a discussion in terms of IndyCar and safety about something over a roll bar hoop, something of the sort, because I think if you look at that video, Robbie Wicken's car comes awfully close to Hunter Ray's, and it's that freak
nervous
situation that makes those roll bar hoops very enticing. I don't know what the answer is, but it's probably time to open that discussion.
It's honestly, though, if the roll bar hoop isn't there, I think you run even more the risk of Hunter Ray potentially being seriously hurt or worse. In that, I think in this case you at least have to be thankful that it was there to take the blow.
I guess we're talking about something covering because he came so close.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about cockpit protection.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm following.
Like a halo barn.
A halo type of situation
where
something over the cockpit. I like the closed, clear kind of thing. But anyways, just
I got you. Now
being gentle about it. But
now I'm following.
It's probably time to open that discussion.
The purists are going to say it's open wheel racing. It's not supposed to be closed cockpit.
We kind of want to keep people alive, so.
All right. With all that said, I want to say I started to say we can get into discussion about Scott Dixon versus Alex Rossi, but we can't get into discussion about Scott Dixon versus Alex Rossi because if I do that, then Randy's going to throw projectiles at me, and it's not going to be good at all. So for the betterment of my health and the betterment of this show, we're going to take a break, and when we return, we can continue discussion on all sorts of things. But I kind of like my head being attached to where it is right now. Jacob will come up with his
next big word of the day.
All right, step aside. Randy will take us to break, and we'll be back with more Motorsports Madness around the turn.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today, 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Cole Custer, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network, the voice of motorsports.
We were having a funny discussion before the show about how Stewart Haas Racing put Cole Custer's Darlington throwback on the former Xfinity Series
Well, he's
car.
not the only one to do it. Spencer Boyd did it too. They're all on the
or
old.
whoever did their
Whoever's doing renders is just doing them on the old Xfinity car. What's up with that?
This rant brought to you by Chris Murdock.
Well, it just
Not really a rant, just interesting.
I don't know that many people caught it because nobody at this table did, but I just saw it and I was like, eh.
I
that
don't
looks
pay
weird.
that close
Minor
attention
continuity
to sports.
errors.
Minor
Yeah.
continuity.
Things that make you go,
Oh, you better believe I had a thing that made me go, a little while ago. And you know what? Just because I'm that
he's
guy,
looking
we
at the
can
camera.
bring it up in a minute.
Oh,
so,
here we go.
But before we bring that up, Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Chris Murdock, Hunter Smith, Randy Miller, and Cisco Scaramuzza on production tonight. And since Tom brought up things that make you go, I'm going to go, on the latest entry list for the BC39 at the dirt track at IMS, which has a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is it has 100 national midgets on the entry list now. Triple digits. The last time that happened for a USAC National Midget race, Ascot Park, the last race there. They had 109. I think we're going to break that, just saying. The bad part of and the thing that made me go, was the fact that there's one driver who was on one of the prior entry lists who is now not on said entry list, and I confirmed with USAC that this was correct earlier today. USAC officials confirming that Kyle Larson, who had previously announced an entry for the BC39 at Indy, has withdrawn his entry. And I find that to be very peculiar.
Yeah, I don't really know. Obviously, there was a reason behind it. I mean, if you
It
intended...
didn't sound like it was a Chip Ganassi-related reason. At least the impression I got from USAC.
I'm going to take a page from Sesame Street's book and say this segment brought to you by
And the number 8.
Actually, I was going to say the number 1K.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I did tweet at Kyle and unfortunately did not get a response, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's too bad because obviously
Darlington's
that
coming
would've
up
been-
next weekend,
would've been
so I
fun,
might be
yeah.
able to ask him there.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I was bummed though. I was really looking forward to seeing Kyle and Bell go at it on this quarter mile inside turn 3. So
Yeah, you have to wonder what would have changed that situation.
Would you let Cup guys run that race?
Absolutely.
It's dirt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Tony Stewart's racing it, right?
Not yet.
Oh.
No, he's
I
not.
thought he was-
Although there is a Clausen Marshall Racing entry that is TBA and doesn't even have a number listed yet. So if you were trying to hide Tony Stewart,
Well, it's hard to hide Tony Stewart. I mean, he's not as big as he used to be.
He's slimmed down a bit.
But it's still substantial, right? I mean, I don't know. That's very interesting.
I think if you're looking at the Clausen Marshall entry, you have to think about maybe a part owner in one of those teams.
In the sprint car team, Ryan Newman. That was the other thought that came to my mind.
Or maybe Stenhouse. Although
no, Stenhouse is already listed. He's listed in the 17S.
Okay, so he's running.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
He is running. Here, I'll be that guy. Since we're talking about it, I'll pull up the 100 strong entry list, and we can debate a little bit, because there's actually a lot of NASCAR participation on this entry list, including a kid from Iowa by the name of Landon Castle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know that Landon has a lot of
dirt
track background.
to...
Landon, as far as I know, came up through the late models. I know I met him when he was about 15 and running at Cedar Rapids in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I can't remember the name of the track now. That's sad. But he was funny meeting him too, because just a little hair down to the shoulders and real humble kid, and went out and drove like the wind. It's like, wow.
All right, so let's talk about some notable names on this. And I know this is dirt, but this is the Madness Show where we talk about everything, so it's okay. Dave Darland is driving a car for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing.
Nice.
Cool. Yes. I love that. That's a cool pairing. Chase Briscoe's driving his own car, which you have to expect that, but there's a NASCAR tie from the Ford Development Program. Sunshine Tyler Courtney in the lead Clausen Marshall racing car. Tracy Hines is back in the seat of a midget, though not driving the car that he's driven the last few years at the Chili Bowl. He's going to drive for a team that won an Indianapolis 500 back in like the 50s. Leader Card Racers, or Leader Card Racing, I think is the official term. Yeah, I looked at that and I'm like, he's driving for who?
I hope it's not a chassis from the 50s.
No, it's not.
I mean, I know midgets haven't changed a lot, but I mean,
Right. Stenhouse in a Clausen Marshall car. Christopher Bell in a Keith Kunz car. You've got Tanner Thorson driving for Rip Jetson in the 21T. That's going to be a fun pairing.
Now there's a racing name.
Rip
Jetson.
Yes. Gio Scelzi driving for Tom Malloy, which that shocked me only because he drove for Clausen Marshall at the Chili Bowl, and I really expected Gio to be in a Clausen Marshall car. Zeb Wise in the 39 BC for Clausen Marshall with new sponsorship on board, a yellow and silver car on Instagram. If you go look up Zeb on Instagram.
Nice looking car.
Oh,
Very
it's a great
nice
car. You've got J.J. Yaley, who's going to be driving a team dueling Hayward car to Kevin Thomas Jr. So J.J. is going to be a teammate to KTJ for that race. I love that. That's going to be fun. You've got Logan Seavey, who is still Sports Center famous in one of the Keith Kunz cars. You've got Tanner Carrick, who I think is probably the most underrated Keith Kunz driver this year. He's won a couple of features and done a really nice job at 16. Carson Elledge and Chad Boat in two of the Tucker Boat cars. And, Tom, another name that you and I are quite familiar with from the Mini Outlaw Karts, who's driving a third Tucker Boat car in this race in Indianapolis from Pennsylvania, Kyle Craker.
Okay, yep, Kyle Craker also in...
I know you were going... I think you were headed down the Austin Langenstein route, but... Just to clarify, even though Austin's announced his intentions to run at Indianapolis, his name and car are not on the officially confirmed entry list yet.
That's interesting.
So that tells me he's not finished finalizing his paperwork.
That will be, that would be a surprise. It's not the day before the race.
Right.
I'm kidding, Austin. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Keep in mind, though, they are cutting off the entry period at noon on Wednesday.
It has been confirmed
Wednesday.
that he is going to drive for Tucker Boat. So... that would be 4 cars, and that's interesting that Austin originally from PA as well.
Yep.
So the Craker Shaker and Austin Langenstein both out of PA.
Yes, and I want to add two. Dylan Welch, son of Vince, is going to be making his return to a midget. We know he's run off and on at the Chili Bowl for a couple of years, and Dylan actually has made a few appearances as a pit reporter for Fox Sports
Doing a great job, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I love seeing Dylan back in a race car. That's going to be fun. I mean, you talk about this race. It's the richest midget race there is. $15,000 to win this race. And that's going to be fun. By the way, this just in also, I'm not going to do the breaking news voice because it's more of an unveil and not a breaking news, but A.J. Allmendinger announced his throwback scheme like as we were talking to Liam Thompson a little bit ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
And it is?
He's throwing back to the Kingsford colors of Robert Presley.
Oh, nice. There we go. Yeah, that's, of course, Robert probably, out of all the drivers that JTG Doherty have had, Presley probably the most well-known of them.
Yeah.
Arguably the most successful, perhaps, too, except for Allmendinger got a win at Watkins Glen, but
yes.
You know, Robert did a good job with them.
And
so.
Robert's son Coleman is now the spotter for A.J. Allmendinger in the Cup
Yep.
Series. So there's another tie. It's the 1998 Kingsford match paint scheme that AJ's going to replicate on the 47 this year.
Would have been a little better if they actually had Kingsford on the car, but
I know, right? And see, that's the only thing. And Dave Moody said this on Twitter, and I retweeted with the hashtag preach, because Dave Moody's right. Some of these throwbacks where they mimic the design, but they don't mimic the colors, that's not a real throwback to me. I'm getting on my soapbox. Get the colors right. If you can, get the sponsor right. I don't care who you have to talk to. If you're going to do the throwback, do it right.
Well,
don't do it half.
The only thing I will say, I agree with that in principle. The only thing I will say to that is that there may be at times some issues of trademark or copyright.
I agree.
That get into the middle of that.
And that I understand.
So,
but in cases where you can't, like Kevin Harvick's Xfinity throwback, throwing back to his West Series championship year, where the colors don't, they're matching the design, but the colors don't even come close to the Spears car he ran. It's like that's cheating. That's not a real throwback. Come on, guys.
Joey Logano's car, but I won't go.
Well, yeah, I mean,
don't go there because that's not their fault.
we
know whose fault that is.
Yeah, it has to do with the number, and we'll not go anywhere else down that road. But then there are some drivers that aren't throwing it back at all, which is, I guess, okay, or they're throwing it back to themselves. I like Denny Hamlin throwing it back to his old late model. I think that's cool.
That's awesome.
And even though Matt Kenseth is not throwing it back, I mean, the Wienermobile, just all kinds of jokes. I wish I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener,
Yeah.
And, of course, if he wins, he is a wiener. Right? If you're from Mexico, he's a wiener.
Is that the Mexican word of the day?
Wiener, yeah, I'm a wiener. So I mean, nice. It just is no disrespect, man. Just having fun. Yeah, that is an awesome paint scheme too.
Hey, Cisco's playing
scheme.
with the video. Cisco went and found AJ's paint scheme, so there it is on video.
I love it. So those of you watching on Facebook get to see that. Cool and we'll ask him
that car's from my childhood. I love it.
We'll post it on our Race Chaser Media page after, too, so you can go there and see it if you haven't.
Hey, there we are again. Woohoo! See, he's getting good at this.
Yes.
I love it. We have visuals now. It's wonderful.
We have visuals.
All right, so there was that little bit of This Just Happened. And the other This Just Happened, to circle back to the IndyCar series for a couple of minutes because, I got distracted. But that's what I do on this show. Texas Motor Speedway and IndyCar ink an extension of that IndyCar race through 2022.
Good deal.
4 years. That's good news. But what I've heard, I can't corroborate this from the press release, but what I have heard reported from a couple of people inside the IndyCar paddock is that there is no exclusivity for Texas Motor Speedway being the only facility in Texas to host an IndyCar race anymore. That opens the door, Coda.
Yeah, there was actually, I saw something somewhere online. Somebody was, okay, so if you could make up the ideal additions or new and somebody said, go to Coda twice. And I went, I think it was one of those reactions where it's like, yeah, we not only once, we ought to go there twice. It wasn't so much they literally wanted to go twice. That was how much they wanted to go there. Right. Like, I think they should go there twice. But you know what? I'll be honest. There are situations where I could see that sort of thing happening. My only thing with that is I know that Eddie Gossage would absolutely. He would not be a happy camper.
He would
we'll
flip
put it
his
that
desk.
way. Yeah, those would be fighting words, Eddie Gossage at Texas Motor Speedway, if NASCAR decided to go to Dakota. Now, with that being said, I think NASCAR needs to do what's best for NASCAR.
Yes.
So
which, as far as I'm concerned, what's best for NASCAR is more short tracks and road courses.
I agree, especially for Xfinity. I would still love to see Xfinity differentiate itself more from Cup.
Yes, please, and the Truck Series too.
Well, the Truck Series ought to be on short tracks primarily. That's my take on that.
No, Hunter. I know what you're thinking in our host chat, and my answer to you is no. IndyCar does not need to race on the Roval.
Hey.
Oh, God, no.
You want to really spice things up.
No.
I say...
Not in this millennium.
IndyCar runs on a few equivalents of the Roval. They're called street courses.
Yeah, but banking, man. Banking makes it different.
Don't run them on the Roval. Just bring them back to Charlotte. Run them on the mile and a half.
Stop clouding his rant with facts.
IndyCar should run on the mile and a half, not the Roval.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Or Richmond, which I've heard is the rumor for replacing Phoenix.
By
the way.
Yes.
Oh, yes, please. Give
go back
me
to
Richmond.
Bring IndyCar to the southeast.
There's that, too. They need to go to Atlanta.
I agree.
They need to go to Atlanta.
Bristol.
But that's a rant. No. Bristol's too small. Too small and too much banking.
That wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't work. All right, we're going to take a break.
Yeah, we banter on that note.
On that note, we're going to get out of here, and we'll have more
Hunter an
Motorsports Madness in a moment. Stick with us.
Maybe.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports Sales Professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
And Tyler Reddick brings us back just in time to get ready to say goodbye. But the good news is we have road course racing this weekend at Road America and Canada. I love it.
2 of my favorite road courses, too. Road America, absolutely, and Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. 2 great races, Xfinity at Road America on Saturday, and, of course, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park on Sunday.
Yes, it's going to be very, very
Cars
fun.
Tour at Wake County on Saturday for those of the
There's
Southeast
that too.
region.
I'm not going to that one, but I know Chris will have a good time.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Yep, it should be fun.
Wake. Wake is tiny.
It's a little bull ring.
Yep.
Sure is.
Hunter, are you just sitting on your couch and watching road racing this week?
I'm ready for road racing. I got a couple of our Fit Stop Performance clients will be running this weekend, so I'm stoked. And I love road course racing, and these 2 road course races each year,
By the way, K&N Pro Series East and West combined show at Gateway Friday night.
It's the prequel to the IndyCar race
at Gateway.
K&N Weast Series.
K&N Weast. Yeah.
K&N Weast good.
Series.
All right. Real quick, you three. I'm not even going to inject myself in this, but it's a good way to kill 30 seconds. Is there a Jeremy Clements surprise winner at Road America, and if so, who, Chris?
I don't think there is. I think it's pretty cut and dry. Well, no, I'll say
it's not cut and dry.
I'll say it's
Good
James
try.
Davidson.
Tom.
I don't think that would be a Jeremy Clements surprise, so no.
Hunter.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a surprise, but I was right there with James Davison.
All right, we're going to get out of here and say thanks to Bob Steele, Sue Mason, all the folks at PMN that aid in making this possible, as well as Cisco Scaramuzza and Randy Miller punching buttons on production tonight. So for Chris Murdock, Tom Baker, Hunter Smith, and our special guests, Liam Thompson and CJ Woliver, I'm Jacob Seelman reminding you to keep it off the wall, folks. And if you're headed to a racetrack somewhere, well, you might just see us there. You might not. You never know where we're going to be. So have a we'll try. Have a safe racing weekend. Easy for me to say. Till we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness with the Race Chaser Online crew. Stay tuned to Performance Motorsports Network for more race talk. For the latest motorsports news, visit racechaseronline.com. Motorsports Madness is a copyrighted production of the Performance Motorsports Network. www.performancemotorsportsnetwork.com. A member of the Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, and may not be rebroadcast, replicated, or saved in any media without the explicit written permission of PMN. Check out our Facebook page or our section in the PMN website. The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host, co-hosts, and guests, and do not necessarily reflect those of the management and ownership of either the Performance Motorsports Network or Scorpion Radio Group Incorporated, the advertisers, or the marketing partners. Be listening again next week when the madness returns on Monday night at 7 Eastern. Until then, keep it off the wall and keep the shiny side up.